She boldly bit the billionaire's lip, leaving a bloody mark on his chest. When he asked if she was satisfied, she panicked. She first said there was nothing good to feel, then quickly changed her tune and said it was actually quite nice. This woman had just woken up in the billionaire's bed after drugging him and breaking into his house. In a shocking turn, the man, who was usually very allergic to women, found he had no reaction to her at all. Just as his worried assistant ordered the whole room cleaned and everything she touched thrown out, the billionaire grabbed the drug vial. He told her the fingerprints on it were enough to put her in jail and told his men to take her away. She cried about her bad luck, saying that after being reborn into a book, she was going to jail before even getting a stable job. But as she was being taken out, the family matriarch rushed in. Seeing the two in bed, she happily declared the woman her daughter-in-law. Her son tried to explain this woman was a criminal who drugged him, but his mother was delighted. She loved a girl with drive and said since they had already slept together, they should go straight to get married. Shocked, the woman tried to talk her way out with a crazy, confusing speech about her views on marriage, leaving everyone silent. The mother, however, just thought her confusion was shyness and announced a big party to introduce her new daughter-in-law to everyone. The billionaire then gave the woman a cold choice: marry him or go to jail. Seeing no other option, she agreed to marry him on one condition. She said it must not get in the way of her studying for the civil service exam. Later, he tested her by having his staff show her trays full of expensive jewelry, designer bags, and even a solid gold bowl once owned by an emperor. Her eyes got wide as she realized this was the golden rice bowl she always wanted, a lifetime of security right there. But she quickly snapped out of it, remembering that real security only comes from a government job. She turned down all the fancy gifts. When the confused billionaire asked what she did want, she made an unbelievable request for a stable job and all the study guides for the civil service exam. With her ex-fiancé's text open on her phone, she faked a dramatic call, sweetly asking her hubby to slow down. She didn't know her real billionaire husband was standing right behind her, hearing every word. The phone was suddenly thrown to her. Caught in the act, she panicked and said she was just practicing her voice. He sarcastically called her a genius before walking away, leaving her totally embarrassed. Meanwhile, her ex-Hoe was at a bar with friends, bragging. He was about to be adopted by the billionaire and become a rich heir. Sure, she was so in love with him she'd come crawling back. His pride was crushed when he got a call from a sexy drunk voice. It was her, pretending to be with another man. Furious, he smashed his glass, angry that she had moved on. That night, she had bad dreams about studying for the civil service exam, tossing and turning until she woke up. Unable to sleep, she wandered into her new husband's off-limits study. There, she found a framed photo of him with a mysterious woman, a rare smile on his usually cold face. But as she reached for it, a hand grabbed her wrist. He pushed her against the bookshelf, his eyes full of anger, and warned her not to touch anything in that room. Suddenly, he was thrown back into a painful memory of finding his sister Yunying bleeding on the floor, her newborn baby crying beside her. With her last breath, she had begged him to take care of her child. Shaken, he let go of his wife and coldly told her everything in the room belonged to his late sister. Later, his assistant brought her sleeping pills, explaining that the billionaire had bad insomnia. Suddenly, the door opened and he walked in, getting into bed next to her. He claimed he was just cold and needed to warm up his blanket. Scared, she reminded him of her rules, promising not to touch him. He just scoffed, not believing her, as they lay there in tense silence. Pooh, he burst out laughing, making fun of her for chasing him even after their breakup. He bragged that he was now the Hoe family's adopted son and a billionaire heir, and he'd never want a lowly delivery girl he already dumped. At the party, just as security dragged her to the ground, her ex mocked her, asking who would dare go against him now. The doors burst open. The billionaire walked in surrounded by bodyguards, holding a little girl. The whole room went quiet. He walked toward the noise, telling the child he wanted her to meet a very interesting person. As he got closer, Tang Tian looked up from the floor in shock. Her ex was frozen as the billionaire arrived with a true heir to the family fortune. The man was forced to his knees on a painful plastic mat to apologize to the woman he tried to have thrown out. Just moments before, he had been gloating. He saw his powerful godfather approaching a woman on the floor and quickly stepped in, calling her a troublemaker he was kicking out. But his godfather coldly asked who the real troublemaker was. He then helped the woman up and in front of everyone declared she was his new wife, Tang Tian. The would-be godson was stunned. He reminded his godfather that he had sworn never to marry and that today was supposed to be his official adoption day. What he didn't know was that this was just the start of his humiliation. The godfather took the microphone and told the whole party he needed to clear up a rumor. He looked right at the man and said he had never met him before and had no plans to adopt a son. Panicked, the man was pulled aside by a rival who reminded him that the godfather was sterile and couldn't have kids. He was still the only heir to the family money. All he had to do was swallow his pride, kneel and apologize to the new wife, so he kneeled. He was then forced to serve his new aunt a cup of tea. After she took a sip, she pulled out a red envelope, but it wasn't a peace offering. It was a humiliatingly small amount of money, which she called a fee for him changing his title from godson to nephew. The godfather then threatened to remove him from the family and cut off all his money if he ever disrespected his wife again. As the nephew scrambled away, the woman shivered from the cold. Her new husband immediately told an assistant to turn up the heat in the room, publicly showing his power and his care for his new wife. She had come to return a golden bowl, a priceless antique, saying she couldn't accept such a valuable gift, especially since she needed to focus on studying for her exams. After she left for the library, he realized his assistant forgot to arrange a car for her and promptly bought every library in the city to make sure she had a place to read. But her day was ruined when she bumped into her nasty cousin, Tang Yunyan, who mocked her for delivering food to a library and called her a blind idiot. It turned out Tang Yunyan's father had already arranged for her to get a top scholarship. The cousin bragged that she only brought books to look the part. This show of arrogance only made the woman more determined. Later, her husband's assistant found her and gave her insurance papers and the deed to all the city's libraries, revealing his boss's big gesture. The woman was shocked, but then tried to flirt with her husband at dinner. She told him she went to the bathroom 10 times because she was thinking of him. He almost choked on his drink, telling her to stop talking. Slapped across the face, the woman was publicly accused of stealing the library's most priceless treasure. Her evil aunt pointed a finger, shouting for everyone to see the thief who stole the ancient book. The library director immediately came over, demanding to search her bag. But the woman refused, calmly explaining that as a public place, the library had no legal right to search a visitor. She told him only the police could do that with a proper warrant, and that forcing a search would be a crime. Just as the director backed down, confused by her legal talk, the aunt revealed a devastating secret. She said the whole library was bought overnight by the powerful Ho family. She sneered that the new owner wouldn't let a thief get away. This made the woman's cousin panic, wrongly thinking her own secret was out. That years ago, she had stolen the woman's spot at a top university. Her mother pulled her aside, revealing their real plan. They had already planted the stolen book in the woman's bag to frame her. The cousin had been mocking the woman moments earlier, calling her a food delivery girl and mad that she was even in a library. Her mother joined in, calling the woman low class and bragging that her own daughter was going to England for graduate school, unlike the woman who only finished high school. The woman, remembering the years of abuse her family had suffered, told her cousin to shut up. This made the cousin angry, who shoved her, leading to the public theft accusation and the slap. But what the plotters didn't know was that the new owner of the library was the woman's husband, and their plan was about to fail spectacularly. They had cornered her in the library, publicly accusing her of stealing a priceless ancient book. When the security guard said the surveillance video was mysteriously erased, her sister Tang Yun gloated, admitting she deleted it herself to make it look like Tang Tian was destroying evidence. Enraged, she lunged to attack her, but a powerful hand stopped her cold. It was Mr. Ho himself. Panicked, Tang Yun desperately tried to stop her sister from showing a backup recording on her phone, knocking it to the ground and breaking the screen. But Mr. Ho wasn't fazed. He simply picked up the broken phone and gave it to his assistant. He ordered him to get the data back and have the full video ready in 5 minutes. Soon, the whole ugly scene played on a big screen for everyone to see, the mother and daughter secretly planting the stolen book in Tang Tian's bag. Humiliated, they started screaming that the video was fake. Mr. Huo just smiled coldly. He told the shocked crowd there was no need to fake anything. He said she was his wife. Mrs. nodded. Who? And that every library in the city belonged to her. He asked why she would need to steal what she already owned. As bodyguards dragged the shrieking mother-daughter pair away, the curator who had sided with them was fired on the spot. Outside the police station, their father was furious about the money he spent bailing them out. But the mother vowed this wasn't over. She snarled that in less than a month, she would make sure Tang Tian was thrown out of the Huo family for good. In the car, Mr. Huo's assistant reminded him of a board meeting. But Mr. Huo was suddenly distracted by a kiss with Tang Tian and told him to keep driving. It turned out she was going to visit her sick mother, so he dropped her off, promising to pick her up later. After arriving, Tang Tian proudly gave her mother expensive supplements. She said spending her husband's money to help the poor felt great. But her mother was worried. Seeing that her daughter looked thin, she asked if the Huo family was treating her badly. Tang Tian assured her everything was fine. But just then, her mother was hit by a bad coughing fit, making Tang Tian realize how weak she really was. After she left, she was immediately confronted by her obsessive ex, Hu Wei. He sneered that she married him just to get his attention and demanded she buy him a limited edition watch to prove her love. Tang Tian just laughed in his face, telling him to ask his own mother. Just then, her sister and family showed up, assuring Hu Wei that Tang Tian was still madly in love with him. They cooked up a plan for him to ambush her at the Ho house that night. They promised that once they were in bed together, Tang Tian would give him anything he wanted. Watching from his car, Mr. Ho grew more and more suspicious. He had only been gone for 10 minutes, and his wife was already talking happily with her ex. As she opened the door, she faked a look of surprise. She asked her husband sweetly if he was busy that night, pretending to be concerned. Mr. Ha, seeing through her act, coldly told her he was busy and drove off, leaving her with a triumphant smile.